Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I want to tell you this little story about the duck and the devil. Stay tuned. This story might change your life. Here we go. The duck and the devil. There was a little boy visiting his grandparents on their farm, and he was given a slingshot to play with out in the woods. He practiced, but he could never hit the target. One day, getting a little discouraged, he headed back for dinner after spending time in the woods with his slingshot. As he was walking back, he saw Grandma's pet duck, and like a little boy, just out of impulse, he put a little rock in that slingshot and let it fly. And you know what happened? He hit that duck square in the head and killed it. He was shocked and grieved. In a panic, little Johnny went and hid its dead body in a woodpile, only to look up and see his sister Sally watching. Sally had seen it all, but she said nothing. After lunch the next day, Grandma said, "Sally, come and help me do the dishes." But Sally said, "Grandma, Johnny told me he wanted to do the dishes." Then Sally whispered to Johnny, "Remember the duck?" So Johnny went to the kitchen and helped Grandma with the dishes. Later that same day, Grandpa asked if the children wanted to go fishing. But Grandma said, "I'm sorry, but I need Sally to stay home and make supper." Well, Sally just smiled and said, "Well, that's all right. Johnny told me he wanted to stay and help make supper." And so Sally whispered in Johnny's ear again, "You remember the duck." So Sally went fishing, and Johnny stayed to help Grandma in the kitchen. After several days of Johnny doing both his chores and Sally's, he couldn't stand it any longer. So he ran to Grandma and confessed, "Grandma, I killed the duck." Did you know Grandma knelt down and gave little Johnny a hug and said, "Sweetheart, I know. You see, I was standing at the window and I saw the whole thing. But because I love you, I forgave you. I was just wondering and waiting how long you would come and tell me, and how long you'd let Sally abuse you and make a slave of you." What's the lesson of this story about the duck and the devil? Well, here it is. Whatever you've done in your past, whatever's in your past, and you let the devil keep throwing it up in your face. Oh, it could be anything. Maybe you told a lie. Maybe you cheated. Maybe you walked out. Maybe it was fear. Maybe you spoke some words. Maybe you're full of hate. Maybe you haven't forgiven. It could be a number of things that you have done in your past. Whatever it is, you need to know God was standing at the window and he saw the whole thing. Did you know God loves you? And he wants you to know that all you have to do is come to him. He is a forgiver. Truth be told, God is just wondering how long you will allow the devil to control you, whisper in your ear, and make a slave of you. See, the great thing about God is when you ask him to forgive, he forgives. And he not only forgives, God forgets. It's by God's grace and mercy that we can be saved. So what's ever in your past today that you've done and the devil keeps whispering in your ear, or you remind yourself when you look in the mirror, God's seen it all anyway, and yet he still loves you. Why don't you turn to him today?